crypto, every bull market, every single cycle so far has had mainstream narratives which drive certain asset classes to have higher degree of gains, a higher percent change, if you will, than other narratives. In the first cycle, we had things like the ICO craze and just the idea that you could build other cryptocurrencies on top of things like Ethereum. Then in the last cycle that we just had, we saw a bunch of things like metaverse gaming take off and make people tons of money. In this cycle, I believe that trend will repeat again. We've already covered so many things in the realm of decentralized science, which I believe is an underweighted narrative in many people's eyes. Now we're going to talk about decentralized physical infrastructure, or DePIN. Here we have a presentation on an overview of what DePIN is, as well as one of the projects which has recently come across my table that is involved in DePIN, but more on that in a minute. First, I have to hit you with this joke because my girlfriend consistently says it every time I come out talking about DePIN. She goes, "DePIN, D's nuts." Got him. So I had to throw it in there. Decentralized physical infrastructure. So this is where you build out networks at an elevated rate of building it out, right? If I was to go and purchase all of the physical infrastructure needed in order to build out a massive network, that would, one, cost me a lot as a company, and two, take a ton of time. You can think about Uber as a prime example of this. It is a more centralized version of DePIN, right? Because they decentralized the taxi drivers. They took a taxi industry, and rather than going out and buying all of the cars, they decentralized it and went and had other people buy cars. Other people had cars and they used their cars. It's still a centralized entity in control of everything at the end of the day, but Uber sits on that spectrum of decentralization. And we talk about this all the time, where it's not just like something is centralized or decentralized. There's a spectrum and things lie on it in different areas. So a good example is Uber. Another example is Helium from last cycle. So Helium was trying to be the internet of things. So you know how your smartwatches and your phone and really like everything, your heart rate monitors, your cars, all of these things have they need to be connected to the internet. As we become to be more and more involved on the internet, everything we use, I think one of the light bulbs behind me is connected to the internet as well. All of these things require some sort of infrastructure there so that they can connect to Wi-Fi and stuff. Helium last cycle, you could go buy a little miner and put the miner in your window right here and build out the infrastructure. So it was a DePIN narrative. We just didn't really have the words for it yet. It was just a Helium thing, and it went crazy. It went to a $5 billion market cap, which is mind-numbing. Grass, which we're going to talk about today, I think is very similar to Helium, only it does not have a token yet. You can also think about Render for this cycle. So Render has been putting in absolute work. I had a class from up here warning of a large pullback. I was really kind of bearish on it. And it went through that pullback and I felt like a genius for a little bit of time. But really, while I was boasting about how I've saved everyone from 50% crash, we probably should have been buying into it. Render is part of the DePIN narrative. Render is where I have my computer here and it's got a really good GPU card in here. It's got a really good graphics card. I could lend out my graphics card compute to a decentralized infrastructure out there, and different like AI and metaverse projects who need some extra computational power to render out graphics could use my render, my GPU. And I'm interchanging the words there, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. These are decentralized, meaning there's tons of us with the already existing physical infrastructure just sitting here that we could monetize. We could monetize this. Another thing, to introduce what grass is, the CAPTCHAs. Every single time you have to prove you're human when you're logging into something, it's like, click this box to prove a human. Initially, it was solve these words. What is this? This is Arch. What is this? I honestly don't know. I'd probably reCAPTCHA it. I'd refresh it, right? That has now evolved into stuff like this, where you click a thing saying I'm not a robot and it says click all the turkeys, and you click it and it got a little bit more annoying and you click it until all the turkeys are gone. That is you training AI, believe it or not. This is right here. This is an uploaded text. Somebody scanned a file, and you and I can read that as ARCH, but early day AI models could not read that as ARCH. And so they would put this up as something AI couldn't recognize and decentralize the effort of training AI. So this is already something we've been doing. We just aren't getting paid for it. Now we get these stupid ass captchas like this, where it's like rotate the teddy bear so that it faces in the same direction as the crab. If you've logged into X after Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, we get these dumb captchas that literally take like 20 minutes to solve. All right, maybe not 20 minutes. It takes way longer than it should, truthfully, because you have to do this like 8 times, where you rotate the pig to face the same direction as it. This is all training AI. Okay, so Grass is just like that. Every time you ask ChatGPT or a large language model, an LLM, every time you ask ChatGPT a question, you are training ChatGPT. You are training it on what people look for on the internet. What happens when you say a dumb question like, why do cats moo? Or why is the grass purple? Grass isn't purple, cats don't moo, but ChatGPT has no idea if that's a true statement or not. And so it gets confused. And in its bank, in its little learning memory bank, it gets confused because it stores a data point that's not accurate. So how do we get around that? How do we kind of solve that little problem that we're seeing as AI and language models have begun to absolutely explode in popularity over this year, really? 2023 has been a very pivotal year in all of AI and machine learning. Well, that's where Grass is trying to come in and change it up a little bit by decentralizing the effort to train large language models. All right? Hopefully that makes sense what I'm saying. So with Grass, you are training AI by allowing it to see what you see on the internet. So Grass, you can think of Grass as an oracle for AI and machine learning, where you allow it to have access to the real world. Just like Chainlink. Chainlink is an oracle so that you can get real world data onto the blockchain. This is an oracle so you can get real world data into AI, because AI, it doesn't exist in the real world, right? It only exists on the internet. A good graphic here to showcase kind of where Grass sits, and this is directly from Grass. You have a web scraper, and then you have Grass nodes, which stop and read the incoming information from things like web servers. So they pull HTTP requests when you're browsing the internet. So anytime I do something online, that is sending data to me. Grass sits there and just watches it come through my feed, all right? And then from web servers to storage to data analytics and preparation, again, that's Grass. That feeds directly into training models and validation. BitTensor, you guys have probably seen BitTensor as well. It's Tau. Tau is a cryptocurrency that's gone absolutely bananas. It has very similar tokenomics to Bitcoin, actually. So low key, don't sleep on this. Look at that. That's actually insane. What is that? 245,000% all time. It's got very similar tokenomics to Bitcoin, where it's got 21 million, but this is not about Tau. Tau is an AI coin, a machine learning coin that receives information from things like Grass. Grass being the thing that absorbs and watches the information that's coming to you from the internet. And then you go to training models and prediction services and all that stuff. This is a more in-depth version of where Grass sits, data collection. In this whole large-scale training model for AI and machine learning, in order for it to succeed, it needs as much data as possible. Right now, you are willingly giving up that data to companies for zero compensation. Grass is attempting to step in and pay you for it, right? That's part of the narrative for all of crypto, right? They're trying to find areas where you're getting taken advantage of and give you some financial benefits from it. Yes, facts. Absolutely. Airbnb did it the exact same thing as Uber, where they decentralized housing, they decentralized hotels. That was perfect. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm going to butcher your name, but I'll give you credit if you want credit. So put it in the chat here if you want credit or not, and then I will attempt to say your name correctly. I know it's probably not a hard name. Shui. All right. You typing it Yeah, like Gui, Shui. You typing it in the chat doesn't change anything. I see your name right there. I still can't. Okay, so Grass takes your view of incoming data based off of HTTPS connections of websites you browse and broadcasts that to a large language model to train them. Again, it feeds things like BitTensor. It is a Chrome extension, which I have right here because I've already done it. Grass extension. It's closed beta and invite only right now. It is pre-airdrop. We're not even 100% sure that they're going to do an airdrop. They might just end up paying out some like coupons or paying out some gift cards with the points that you're acquiring by allowing it to feed into this. But there is plans for monetization, and the language that they're using and just kind of like where they're heading with everything points in the direction that they're going to do an airdrop, likely on Solana, at least from my inside sources here. And I'll spill my inside sources as well, because why not? He's probably going to watch this anyway, so I got to give him credit. It's learn to earn, all right? Learn to earn. This guy's the one who put me onto it. Learn to earn. But I think he's learn to earnify on X. We're going to watch his video here, actually. That's a nice freeze frame on him as far as the potential safety concerns for it. But I want to make sure that we go through everything. So you can have multiple devices connected to this because you can browse the internet on multiple devices. And on each device, you can have this Chrome extension. This is the dashboard. I've cut it off a little bit because it's got my IP on the right side, so I don't want to show you guys my IP over here. But you can see today I've earned 746 points because, again, these are not tokens or anything yet. 848 now because I'm chronically on my computer. I installed it yesterday. The most that you can get is 2,400 points in a day per device, and that's if you have really good internet speed and everything, because it's basically just utilizing it's based off of how much you browse and everything. There is a referral link which I will put into the Discord and probably in the description of this video if you're watching it at a later point in time. If you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe, especially if you're interested in making money through cryptocurrency and just innovative technology. This referral link, in the name of full disclosure, they do have a little bit of Ponzi-nomics here, a little bit of Ponzi tokenomics. So it's not really tokenomics, it's pointsomics, but it's a referral system to make it so that you can onboard as many users as possible, right? I get points based off of the browsing that you do online as well. I believe it's 10% of the points that you generate, but it's not out of your cut. It's based off of additional points that they're just handing out because they don't have a coin yet. They don't have to worry about dilution or anything. Everyone is allowed to just get points. And then if they do an airdrop, it will be based off of the amount of points that you've generated. And again, it will likely be on Solana's network from what Learn to Earn is pointing at and just how they've been wording language from when I was looking into it. And then you can do the same thing do referrals. The person that you refer, I would get 5% of it, and that's as far as it goes. So it's not as much a Ponzi as it is a multi-level marketing scheme. So it's a way to get as many users on as possible. MLM, yes, thank you. Thank you. Shui, thank you. Not a Ponzi, MLM. Both questionable though. Either, like, a red flag should go up as soon as you hear MLM or Ponzi. This is not a Ponzi, this is an MLM. It should still raise a red flag. And then you ask, why is it structured like that? Well, before they have a token, during this incentivization period to get users on board, they need some way to have like a network effect and get it decentralized and get the word out there as quickly as possible. What better way to do that than a referral system? All right, now, let's watch this video together because he goes over some of the risks associated with it because you are allowing it to read everything that you do online. It's only reading incoming information, but it should still be a little bit like concerning, right? There's also the level of how could you make it as secure as possible. So let's watch this together. Let me know if you hear it twice or anything.
To data privacy and security, there's something you need to be aware of. By adding this extension to your Google Chrome, you are effectively doing an
I know time's your most valuable asset, but let's go back down to 1.5 speed.
MITB. In the world of cybersecurity, something you need to be aware of. By adding this extension to your Google Chrome, you are effectively doing an MITB. In the world of cybersecurity, that means man in the browser. And here is exactly what that really means. choosing to install the Grass plugin into your Google Chrome browser, it is going to filter the information that comes in and then filter the information that comes out, right? That is what it's using your bandwidth for. Now, in the context where you type in your password through the same Google Chrome window, that could leave you vulnerable. Remember, this project is still in beta, and despite the green lights from the fundraising perspective, the social credibility, you want to protect yourself in crypto. So if you are ever typing in secure passwords into your Google Chrome, turn off Grass, turn on your VPN, do what you need to do, and then return to it. Another way that you can be extra more safe is turning on two-factor authentication, which frankly you should have on anyways. In addition, there is HTTPS protocol, which is the little lock that you see in the top of your web browser, which means your password is encrypted when it is submitted. That is something that you should really be looking out for if you are going to be logging into sites with your Grass add-on enabled. Remember this, if the product is free, you are the product. This is a very new technology, and frankly, you should exercise caution if you choose to get involved with the Grass ecosystem. I'd recommend doing some more due diligence on the other people who have founded this project to get a firm understanding of who they are, where their money comes from, and their track record, right? Do your own research, because not everyone in crypto has your best intent in mind. One of the best ways that you can protect yourself from the security and data risks associated with this product is run it inside a virtual machine. That is a very complex term for an operating inside an operating system to limit the amount of data availability to this protocol. Although this might result in diminishing returns for the yield, it is a much safer way to control how much data is being distributed. Another way, if you have complex networking access, is create an isolated network to reduce the amount of contagion of information spread across different networks. Again, these are just general safety concerns, and you should think hard about if you want to take this risk and get involved with Grass.
All right, cool. So he went over really quickly some of the, well, it was really quickly because I was on 1.5x speed, but some of the potential concerns. Again, I've already signed up for Grass, and I have the referral link there. So Grass just raised $3.5 million in their seed round to become an oracle for decentralized AI. I think it's got good potential, and I think it's worth the risk. The risk to reward, in my opinion, is there, as long as you have some of those safety nets in store, right? The two-factor authentication, potentially using a VPN, understanding that it will likely cut your rewards down a little bit. I know Shui here asked about that, but yes, a VPN would likely trim down some of the rewards that you collect, but ultimately, that's fine. Like, it's worth your safety, right? Now, for the final part of this video, and then we'll get into discussing everything a little bit and going over DePIN again, answering some questions. What are some of the projects in DePIN? Decentralized physical infrastructure. Well, you have compute projects such as Flux, which tried to be the AWS and compute for artificial intelligence. Flux, I went to a conference earlier this year about Flux, and low-key, they're setting themselves up pretty good. They got people in high places that I think Flux could be a good play. Just one of those larger, like, mid-cap plays, so don't expect insane returns, but with saying that, like, a 10x is kind of my baseline, right? I wouldn't expect anything crazy like 100x, but a 10x, I'm not interested in anything unless it's going to give me a 10x. That's just point blank. Then we got Core AI, Akash, and Render. I have not looked into all of these. I just went out and sourced some of them so that we could collectively look into them, or slowly and surely go through each of these and see which ones are worth our time. As far as storage projects, we have Octaspace, we have SC Prime, and we have Filecoin. I don't like Filecoin. I will not be putting my money in Filecoin unless one of you guys convinces me that they've changed up a lot. But nonetheless, Filecoin is a decentralized storage project, which is a DePIN. Then we have wireless network providers such as Helium. Helium was big last cycle, like I said in the beginning of this recording. However, they absolutely tanked during this bear market, and the Helium miners are effectively rendered useless. LOL render. They've pivoted to 5G data rather than trying to be the Internet of Things. And they actually, I just heard on a video that I was watching earlier today that they have unlimited 5G data for $5 a month in Miami. So if they get big again, if that's something that catches on, that's enormously massive. We have Wi-Fi Map and then Grass. Wi-Fi Map is a project. You can go look at it. It's a wireless network provider. And then we have Grass. Grass has been what the whole video has been on. As far as extras, we have Hive Mapper, which is a car cam. It's a dashboard cam you put there, and you give them permission to kind of map out and become a decentralized Google Maps. Then we have Demo, which tracks your car health, like miles to gallon and your tire pressure consistency and all those little cool, fun things in your car. We have GeodeNet, which gathers geospatial data on a network, and then Crank K, which is trying to be Helium after Helium failed. And the final point here before I finish up the recording is that a lot of these projects are building out on Solana. So bullish for Solana potentially. I'll probably lose my bet with Aaron, but so be it. I'm already hedging that by purchasing the Solana that I'm going to have to owe him. That way it's like I hedged it, whatever. Your time's your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing into. If it was, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and join the Discord, because just know that Discord was here live as it was being filmed. I'll see you guys in the next video.